Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Sci-Fi Saturdays. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the helm our captain, the one and only Keith C. Wade.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. That's a first. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Sci-Fi Saturdays. This is the first Sci-Fi Saturdays of this 2018. Welcome, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for coming out this morning. I appreciate you so much. It's going to be an amazing, amazing day. To my left, my first mate, my first officer, helmsman, Gary D. Wright. Gary, what's up with your boy?
What's happening? Good morning, everybody. 2 times for all the geeks in the house.
To my right, the most amazing science officer in the galaxy, Lieutenant Crystal Chanel. Crystal, what's up?
What's up? What's up, everybody? And good afternoon, and happy Saturday, and happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's 2018.
It's 2018 around here. Oh, 20 great team. I like that.
Shout out to the studio audience.
Yes. 20 great team. That's that hashtag 20 great team.
We got it. It's ours.
Okay. There it is. Oh man, I am so happy to be here. I'm like really hyped. Like I'm so happy to see y'all. I can't tell you how much I'm happy to see y'all.
Well, I'm happy to see you too.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here because I found out this morning that Superman is not invincible.
No, don't worry about it, bro. We got it.
Oh, watch out now.
We got it on lock, bro.
I see you Superman and raise you Batman.
That wasn't the real one. That's you dealing with the real one right here, man.
Go ahead, Doc.
You know what I'm saying? We are going to dive in because we have so much a great show. We have What's in the Box. We have You Go Goddess. We have a big challenge going on of the franchises. Who are we gonna crown king of the franchises? I don't know. It's gonna be something else. But let's go ahead and get into it. Lieutenant, lead us into Word Around the Galaxy.
So this afternoon we start with Word Around the Galaxy, and there's a huge conversation going on about which franchise is dominating right now. And so it's time to talk about it. Is it Star Trek? Is it Star Wars? Is it...
We got to talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Okay. We
have to talk about it. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that's been said and been going on because of Star Wars. I just want to just briefly recap what happened last time on Sci-Fi Saturdays. We were talking about going to see it, and it was Gary laughing because he already know what I've been through.
Right.
It's a story.
Let me just tell y'all, I just went through so much during the December period of my life. I'm so happy for January because that lets me know that December is done.
It's over.
It's over. And all I can say is, I need to probably write a book about everything I went through to go see Star Wars. But
it was Mission Impossible.
It was Mission Impossible. All I can say is that my car broke down twice. I walked on the turnpike. I ended up in the hospital in the emergency room. And I didn't even get to see it until the day later when my best friend in the world drove down from Orlando, Florida to watch the movie with me. And he said, listen, man, we got to do something. So just hop on the back of the bike. So
the things we do for what we love.
So needless to say, at about 10 o'clock on Saturday evening, me, a grown man, was on the back of a motorcycle with another grown man.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Driving down Broad Boulevard to get to the movie code all the way on Sheridan. And people were just watching, wow, I love that they're so open with their relationship. It was a very humbling experience for me, I want to say. But then I got there, and we watched it, and it was, I don't even know what to say about it, man. It was really, a lot of people are having different opinions about the film itself. And let's just get into some of the aspects of the film without, kind of giving too many spoilers. The director, Rian Johnson, went totally separate. He went left on a lot of the Star Wars themes and traditions. It was, I don't know, Gary, what do you?
It kind of, when you look at Empire Strikes Back, because I have to say this because my wife was like, okay, I'm trying to get into this thing that you're into. What is this exactly? So after she watched Empire Strikes Back, like, our house has been full of Yoda quotes for the last 2 months.
Yes.
And by far the favorite is not to try, do
or do not.
Or do not.
There is no try.
There is no try. Right. And there you go. You said it, boo. That is why you fail, because you tried.
One time for Mrs. Wright in the house. What's happening with you?
And it really, this new movie has such a different feel about it from looking at the epic hero who is the main character,
Luke Skywalker.
But even with his protege, what was her name again? I just lost
Rey.
it. Rey. And Rey is so powerful that she makes Luke look like he was just a joke back when he was her age. Yeah. I mean, if you remember, Luke struggled doing the handstand, and Yoda made jokes and mocked him the whole time he's doing his training, and it was so funny that as her character is just so powerful, she doesn't even realize the power she has, and I don't want to tell that thing about. Let's just say there are going to be some cameo appearances from certain characters that you love from The Empire Strikes Back, who brought it all around in a circle for me. That, Luke Skywalker was a bad dude, but he still was a klutz.
He had some growing to do.
Yes, and still is growing.
With Rey, with the induction of Rey into the Jedi Order, so to speak, it's like everything was handed to her. Yeah. She just like, okay, you just showed up. Thank you.
Yes, you cut rocks in half with your lifesaver, excuse me. Did I say it right? No. That was the Ebonics version?
Yeah,
lifesaver.
Right. We talked about that
she took her lifesaver and just,
Just already like, huh?
What?
No, I had to work for years to get where that is, and you just got it, like, off the, I don't know what that is, but I just really felt some type of way about that, bro.
Yeah.
I felt some type of way about
that. And then there were the whole, I don't want to do the spoilers, but there were major characters that were trying to be eliminated in the writing, and they found a way to bring this character back, which kind of threw me off. And I'm like, well, okay, now
all we're going to say is the Mary Poppins, Princess Leia.
For those who watched the movie, you know exactly what we're talking about.
The Mary Poppins, Princess Leia. What the? I got to, what the hell, dog?
I said, and I stopped. I said, wait a minute. Did that just happen? I couldn't believe it for a second. I said, this is a joke. No, she didn't just. She was in. Listen, I understand it's sci-fi, but there has to be a little bit of realism to being in outer space. When you're in outer space, certain things is going to happen to your body. So for you to be able to just to do what you need to watch the movie if you haven't seen that part, because it's going to be like, really?
I stopped. I had to stop in the theater and look around like.
Did that just happen?
I had to look at the other people like, y'all see that?
Were the other people looking around too?
Yeah, they were looking around too like,
what just happened?
What just happened?
No, go ahead, Troy.
No, Troy, come.
Wasn't that the part in the film where it got quiet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to make announcements to the theater because people were complaining that why the movie gets silent all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's because she was in space and
you don't hear
when
anything.
she starts going back towards the ship, you start hearing people in the audience.
Yeah.
Are y'all for
real? Troy Brenier is saying that everybody got quiet at that particular.
I said it was Disney.
It was a Mary Poppins moment
really
in Star Wars. I was like, what the? Like, what in the world?
It was her in the force.
You know,
and
you were reasoning with it.
Big.
But you know something,
Princess Sola is in the house, and Troy Brenier is in the house. I just want to make sure that everybody knew who was talking. Since y'all can't see them on the live feed, I want to make sure that y'all know that we have dignitaries here today.
We got an audience, y'all. We got a real audience.
amazing studio audience.
This gonna be real. This gonna be real.
But it leads us to see that these female characters in this particular saga they are strong. I mean,
the force is
you
strong.
Knew the princess was strong,
and we gonna talk about that in the challenge, because there's a reason why some of the female characters are so much stronger now than they were in the previous.
Mark Hamill spoke to that, and they kind of made him kind of sort of rescind his because he said there was an agenda.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's a reason behind that. There's a reason. Yeah. Yeah. There's a little.
But I
reason.
got one question in reference to that whole thing. Who's the baby daddy? Who is the baby's daddy? Somebody tell me who's the baby's daddy. Because
It better not be a letdown.
I'm telling you, boy, they're going to be some mad. They're going to draw their lifesavers. Not lightsabers, but their lifesavers. And they're going to come cut up some stuff.
Listen.
Anybody buy what Kylo Ren told her?
I think it's a lie.
That
I
was
hope
a
it's a
lie.
lie.
That was
I
definitely
really
a lie.
hope it's a lie. Because if that's the case, honestly, from a filmmaking point of view, Rian Johnson kind of just led, oh, you wanted to make a mythology. You wanted to create something, J.J. Abrams? Well, the hell with what you just did. Oh, yeah? No, don't worry about that. We're just going to destroy all that, and we're going to start something else. Ha, ha, ha. So I'm not, it was a real, screw you to J.J. Abrams, to be honest with you. And one of the biggest aspects of the story, it comes at the end with our favorite character and what happened to him. And so for me, I'm hoping it's just a build up to what's to come. But if he did, if that did happen, I'm very upset. But I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go and see what happens.
You're still gonna be a fan.
I'm till I die. Till I die. It's gonna be like that.
Even with this transition of the story changing.
Till I die.
Till he died.
Till I go.
So
can
my
do no
question is
wrong.
there really was
No, they
really,
can do wrong. You see, that's the thing about it. Commitment isn't about everybody always being right. It's about them being wrong and you still staying there.
Ooh, I like that.
You don't have to agree all the time. Sometimes y'all can say, you know what, you wrong, but it ain't gonna be no breaking up, okay? Huh? Oh yeah, you gotta hold them accountable. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. Let's talk about briefly Black Panther, which is coming next month.
Right. Woo! I should say this amazing afternoon has been brought to you guys by Broward Cultural Division and Destination Sistrunk and the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention Bureau. Our live studio audience has an amazing breakfast, delicious breakfast, nutritious breakfast of cereal here. So make sure you partake. And again, shout out to the studio audience for being here.
Shout out, everybody. If I wish I could see who's watching us live. But shout out to everybody watching us live, man. I appreciate y'all so much. It's like we blowing up.
So Black Panther.
Black Panther next month. Now I wanted to address briefly a controversy that's been started behind Black Panther. One of the stars, Michael B. Jordan, who plays Eric Killmonger in the series. He's one of the main antagonists. Eric Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, apparently is dating a young lady that's not African American, and there's been a pseudo protest or boycott that's been floated to not go see the movie because of this issue. I wanted to address, what I say, the only one on this panel that has some sense. Crystal, what do you think about that?
Wait. So you got to reel me into the story. So Black Panther, the main character.
Well, not the main character.
Well,
the main antagonist.
Right. And he's black. He's African American.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Michael B. Jordan, the actor Michael B. Jordan.
And his love interest is not.
Is not. And so there's been this pseudo.
And in
boycott.
2018,
Not as
in real life.
in real life.
But in 2018, we're still hung up over the color of someone's skin.
Yeah, apparently there's been this pseudo protest. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I just find it interesting that we feel it to be our business to be involved with who somebody likes. I mean, me personally, I like to keep my love life and affairs and fun to myself. So I don't understand. They're providing an art. Enjoy the art. That's my perspective.
Gary?
I've never seen two horses sitting in a field and one look at the other horse and say, I don't like you because you got all those brown and white spots. Why can't you be black like me? I've never seen two horses angry or arguing with each other about that. So I don't get the color thing.
If you
it's
do
whatever.
see two horses doing that, we're going to have a discussion, bro.
Yeah, especially if it talk back. I mean,
we going I just want you to know you can come to me, bro.
I will. I'll be more than happy to,
what I mean?
after I
Just
take my
talk to me
medication.
about that.
I know we're talking about Black Panther, but did you guys watch Wright? Because it kind of brought in some social issues.
Oh, yeah.
Over,
Oh, you watched Wright? Look at you. Look at her. She growing up.
So proud of my lieutenant right now. I'm proud of her.
when nobody was watching, I turned on Netflix late at night.
That's what's up.
And
That's what's
I got
up.
all involved in the orcs and the fairies.
What'd you think? Did you like it?
I personally loved it, and I'm
Cool.
a big fan of The Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne and Angela Yee didn't think that it was all that, but I thought it was great to show did you like it? The race relations and exactly fairy lives.
Oh, that was
don't
funny.
marry. That was
I want me a shirt with that on it.
Fairy
right.
lives don't matter.
And he brutally killed a fairy in front of everybody.
It was gangster. It was gangster, like with a broom. And if you
Right.
didn't see it, you need to go and watch the movie.
Right.
It's on Netflix. Bright. Got to definitely check it out.
You know what I like though? There's a season. There's gonna be a part 2. I heard.
They've already
What?
created a sequel already.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. But you know what I like? My favorite part about the orc was how he could sense things. And I think that I was just saying that I think that there's something so mysterious and magical about us that's how they see us.
That's a trope.
Yeah.
The magical Negro. That's a
Okay,
trope.
Okay. I fell in love with the orc. I thought he was actually quite handsome in a mythical kind of way.
And I will say, it
That's
was
one of our
kinda-
producers. That's why we are who we are.
Yes. And all your spots and imperfections.
There he is.
I like that.
And
Yeah.
what was interesting to me is that we didn't really see too many black groups in the picture. So, I mean, there were no black gangs. There was the
Right.
Latinos and the orcs. And the orcs were the new Negroes. I hate to say it that way, but and I'm going to say it because y'all want to say it. But,
Orc is the new black.
and I was...
That's a shirt. You
Orc
can't
is
go
the new
back.
black.
Woo!
There it is.
There it is.
Orc is the new black.
I
You heard it here first on Sci-Fi
But
Saturday.
it was cool to watch a movie with cops in it, and we weren't the antagonists. We weren't
Right.
being the ones being arrested, and it was just an interest. And I thought it was an interesting role for Will. Will, you got to see Will do Will, which you saw his corny lines and
Right.
his zingers, and and that was him. That was
Right.
him. But the reality of dealing with this heavy racial situation,
Right.
it brought such realism to what we're dealing with right now,
Right now.
as African Americans and as people of color, period, in this country.
I think it brings home probably one of my favorite quotes from Dr. King that states, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So,
Is that your phone?
yeah, that's me. That's me. That's
Why
me.
y'all
It's
trying to
your
call
lie.
us when we on the show?
It's your lie. We don't
Mama,
know
I'm
how-
working. Mama, I'm working.
Call back, Mom. Call
Mom,
back.
I'm working, Ma.
Grace, did you say something? I heard you shout out. The elves.
Oh, the elves.
Those were amazing
Dude.
characters. Very wealthy. Right?
Hold up. That's what I was about to say. Where the dark elves at?
We were orcs. I think they're the Asians, right? What do you
No,
think?
come on.
Jews.
Well,
I thought they were the Asians.
No, they were
Boy.
the Jews.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oi, Mezami.
Yes.
Dang.
me
You
and
have to. Why you say
You
these
say
things?
Jews, so they say Jews. Wow.
It was interesting.
See, I
man.
watched it from a different perspective.
But that's okay.
What?
There were
What?
black people in the Hobbit where? Oh, I was about to say, you going back to that orc thing again? We always
Speaking
the
of
orcs.
which, getting our last topic, how does everybody feel about the fact that we will not have Game of Thrones until 2019?
I like that.
I'm
It
mad.
gives you a chance to catch up.
Well,
I had to take my time with that.
I will agree. I had a friend call me the other day, and she was calling me like, I'm on chapter 4. Oh, my God, I can't stop watching this. I'm like, really? Wait, you just started watching this? Really? So for those of you that have not caught up with Game of Thrones, it's a very interesting story about Yeah, thank you for saying it that way. Not us. But I always find swordplay shows and movies to be very interesting because white people are very interesting when they got swords and stuff to kill each other with. It's amazing what avenues they take and how far they're willing to go to kill somebody or humiliate them.
That's a wonderful thought.
Yeah,
As we're brought to you by the Brown Cultural Vision. Listen, we're going to go into our next segment. We're going to break for one quick second. Then we're going to start talking about what's in the box. So hang with us. We're going to be back in 2 and 2. Sci-Fi Saturdays with Keith Wade.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second segment of Sci-Fi Saturdays. Let's turn back to your host, Keith C. Wade.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to kind of address your questions with our What's in the Box segments. What's in the box? Shout out to my boy Brad Pitt. What's in the box?
So let's find out what's in the box. I'm going to pick a question from our studio audience, and then we'll all tackle it. I like this one. Why have the producers quit on seasons of the Boondocks?
Aaron Magruder, who was the creator and producer of the Boondocks, and I believe it was on Cartoon Network originally.
It was on Cartoon Network.
I believe Aaron Magruder really decided that he was going to end it. You know, all good things must come to an end. You know, at least in that specific genre. And at a certain point, there's only so many stories you can tell from those particular characters, and I think it had a great run. Boondocks was probably one of the most controversial and groundbreaking cartoons of its kind, but after a while, like, it's like watching that 7th season of Happy Days. It's like, come on, really?
Wow, I can't agree with that.
You don't agree? Okay.
Gary was like, she has a perspective.
Okay. I love that.
I mean, I just think that Boondocks was full of social issues, and as we continue to grow and evolve as a society, there's always something plaguing our community that can be told through the eyes of children and a grandfather. I think it's timeless and could never get old. And I think, I mean, is The Simpsons still running?
That's true. That's true. That's a great point. That's a great point. I was addressing it from the perspective of the creator. Like, I know at a certain point, if y'all see that backdrop is my book, A Warrior's Path. At a certain point, I'm going to want to end the series. There is a great beginning and middle and end for all, I think, stories. And, of course, somebody else can take it on. But for a creator, I think it has to have a button. It has to be somewhere where it began and somewhere where it ends. Because I just think there's room for everybody. I love the Boondocks.
Big fan.
I'm a big fan of it.
Huge fan.
Huge fan of the Boondocks. But I just think it has a run in it.
And, you know, I think that we have to learn in our community because there's so few producers telling our story. We have to learn how to pass things on so that the story can continue. And because it hasn't lost its luster and we still want more of it, no matter what your age is, I think we have, and I think that's a flaw in our community, learning how to pass the torch, and keep things going. So
that's a good point. I like that. If Aaron wants to pass it on to me, I'll take it up.
Exactly. And, you know, I felt the same way. I know this isn't sci-fi, but I'm in love with the Netflix series right now. I felt the same way about Dave Chappelle. Instead of just leaving, he should have figured out a way to pass that torch on because I have some great skit ideas for him. Shout out. Anybody know Dave Chappelle? Tell him I have some skit ideas.
For real.
Hey. Holla at us.
Well, you see what Keenan Ivory Wayans did. He kind of brought his family in, and then they kind of ended up taking the show over, and he faded himself out.
Exactly.
And
I think there's a natural evolution because where there was Dave Chappelle, then there became Key and Peele, and after Key and Peele, there'll be somebody else. So
they were the worst, by the way.
They were okay. They had their moments.
Hey,
but okay.
If there was no Key and Peele, we would not have a Get Out.
And Get Out was amazing. Get Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's sci-fi too, right?
Yes, it is. It's sci-fi horror.
It's horror sci-fi.
Yeah. So I think everything has an evolution. So that's a great question. Let's pick one more.
Let's pick another.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Do y'all know where that's from?
Yeah, Brad Pitt in Seven.
Yes. Yes.
Have some of the franchises become too familiar?
Formulaic? Formulaic.
Oh, formulaic. Sorry. I thought that was an R.
Formula. I think there is a Formula 2 franchise. You have to have your heroine, you have to have your hero. But I think what's happening with Star Wars right now is kind of breaking a lot of the mold, especially when it has more female-centered heroes. I think sometimes you have to break the box in order to create a new reality.
And to keep the people that are listening and watching, to keep them there. Because if you keep showing the same thing over and over again, what if this Ray had come out and became another Luke Skywalker? But like, you just retelling the same damn story. So.
I think, shout out to Florida Memorial University real quick. I'm a professor there. When I teach my acting and writing classes, I tell everybody that there's 4 tent poles of storytelling. The same story has been told a million different times in different ways, and there are always some kinds of stories that are either man versus man versus himself, man versus his circumstances, or man versus nature. And every story that we've ever heard has that in it one way or another. And so that's the formula. But within that formula, you can put different ingredients. There's several different ways to cook chicken.
Yep.
So it's just about the recipe of the writer. So whichever way you want to cook it, whether you want to broil it.
Balance though, because if you're going to evolve the story, but at the same time, you see the tremendous backlash from some of the fanboys when you break character.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, you got to go through something to get to something. That's what I always say.
True.
So,
Hey, shout outs to Karan, March, Donna Lynn, Shannon, Naturalista, Way, and Brenda Schuler for watching. We appreciate y'all.
we appreciate y'all. Thank you. Okay. Now let's get this going, man. We do something called the X-Men Challenge.
All right.
Woo!
And every month, I have these people who come to
These
my
mere
bridge,
mortals.
to my bridge, and challenge me with their knowledge of the X-Men. And many have come, but all have fallen up to this point.
This is true, Cap.
So I open the challenge again to any mortal that feels they can challenge me in any knowledge of the X-Men. You may come to this bridge and sit with this crew and pose a question. You get a question, I get a question, and we will challenge each other until one is vanquished. 2 will enter, 1 will leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, the X-Men Challenge.
Do we have anybody that wants to challenge the champ today?
The interesting thing about today is you can feel the tension in the room.
Yeah, there's a tension.
And the way you did that intro, folks don't know, should I step up? I see legs shaking.
Come with it. Don't be scared.
I see
Don't be
folks
scared.
blushing.
Don't be scared.
Scared money don't make no money.
That's
Come on, girl. Oh, we got a female. That's what's up.
Our first female challenger.
The first. And this is the year of the woman, so please represent. No pressure.
No pressure. Come up. Have a seat on the bridge.
You're a champion already just by
You are.
participating.
All right, so we're
What,
going to do.
introduce your name. That's
What's your name, dear? I'm sorry.
I'm Gigi.
Y'all give it up for Gigi. All right.
Woo!
This is how this is going to work. We're going to do tit for tat questions. So you give a kind of formulate whatever kind of question you want to ask Keith. Hopefully he'll be able to come with the answer to it, which he should be because he's supposed to be a master at this particular.
Supposed to be.
And he's going to come up with a question for you in return. And whoever gets stumped first basically loses. Okay. So we'll probably do at least 2 questions.
At least 2. If we have to go if we have to go into overtime, then we go into overtime.
Are you ready, Gigi?
I'm ready.
All right. Here's our first question.
Who is Nightcrawler's parental units?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Her question was, who is Nightcrawler's parental unit? Meaning the parentage of Nightcrawler?
Parentage. Who is the parentage?
Would that be Mystique?
That's one.
Mm-hmm.
That is the parent, not the
I know the answer to this
parentage.
one.
And a teleporter named his father. His father's name escapes me. No,
I ain't say nothing. I'm not showing him
We
anything.
would never.
We never do
Uh-uh.
that. His father was a red teleporter. He was actually demon based. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for a name.
I don't know the name either on that.
Ooh, get him. Get him, Gigi.
Okay. I mean, you got the parent that everybody knows is Mystique. Mystique is his mom.
And
So
dad?
you ready for?
We don't know dad?
No, his
So that's a 0.5.
his father.
He's not a well-known character.
Was he in the child's
Right.
life?
But you are an expert, therefore you should know.
Yeah. I know.
Gigi
I know
just
what he
called
looks
you
like.
out, dog.
I know what
She
he
just
looks
said
like.
you's an expert.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
No.
But do you know the? Don't say it. But you. Okay. All right.
no.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know his dad's name off the top of my head. I don't know his dad's
All right. So
name.
you got to get a good question.
Would you like to know, Keith?
Yes. Go.
Azazel.
Azazel. That's
Azazel.
Azazel is father's name. Azazel is father's name.
That way.
Azazel.
Is there? Now hold on. Let me ask a question. Is there any
that's-
documentation of him in any
No,
of the
that's true.
films?
That's absolutely true.
I want to say I saw him.
Was in a film, but the storyline,
Yeah.
Had
it wasn't-
nothing to do with
it
the
wasn't-
character,
nothing
right?
To do with it. It had nothing to do with it.
If you were looking, it was the
Azazel.
X-Men,
I
the
just-
beginnings,
I
right?
just couldn't remember it, but that's absolutely
He's
correct.
the red character.
he is the red character.
Okay. If you watched X-Men, Origins? Thank you, dear. X-Men Origins.
No, actually, he was in X-Men First Class.
Yeah,
First Class.
Yeah, he was. I just couldn't remember Azazel's name.
Right. You saw a brief snippet of this character. He was in and he was out, and he really didn't have a whole lot of lines in the movie either. He did some kick butt stuff. Now he did, but he didn't really have major lines, which is kind of odd because he was a pretty unique character. Let's see. Okay, I guess we can go to question number 2.
No, I can ask her a question. then. What is the address?
Dang. The address.
I gotta come back. A Professor Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters.
That's a good one. That's kind of loaded.
He had
She
to go
coming
hard.
at me?
He had
I'm
to go
coming
hard.
up. Come on.
He had the school rebuilt at
He
one
did,
point.
He did have this several times.
Okay. Gosh.
So does that mean there's multiple addresses?
No, there's one address that got built in the same place.
Okay.
Man, I'm not even gonna front. I don't know the address, but I'm gonna say like 23 X-Men Way.
No,
There we go.
it's Salem Center, New York, Grimalkin Lane.
Okay. Thank you, Keith, for that.
Okay. So next round. Next round.
Next round, all right.
Salem Center, New York, Grimalkin Lane. That's not the. That's where it is. That's my question.
I like the fact checker. Shout out
Did
to
I
our
have part of that?
sponsors.
Did I have part of that? Was I correct? Okay, we're halfway. We're halfway.
What's the address?
Dear Keith, we are waiting.
We are. want to say it's like Salem City, New York. I had it in my mind, and now it's just gone because I'm being challenged. It's okay.
That's
I like
okay.
that.
It happens. Yeah.
It happens. It
It
happens.
happens.
It happens.
You want to give us the answer?
Give us the answer. Give it to us. 1407.
Ah.
1407.
Is there significance to that number?
Well, he got there at Great Mall in Williams-Salem Center, but
That's
that's not.
the city.
14. Yeah, that's where it is. Okay. Next
Okay.
question.
Please don't go to New York looking for that address, y'all. It's not there. It's not really there.
How many times has Jean Grey died?
Ooh. How many times has Jean Grey died? And there's been multiple.
There's been multiple.
Multiple times. The first time she died was during X-Men's first Phoenix death. So she died the first time in the original series of Dark Phoenix. Then she died again during the X Factor series. And then she died again when they brought her back. So she's died 3 times. She died 3 times?
Technically, yes, it was 3, but it's arguable that there's a 4th time.
Okay. All right.
How's it arguable? What's the fourth time?
The last time they say she didn't technically die, was it when I forgot her name, the space lady. She took over her body and she was acting. Yeah, no, not Phoenix. It was another one.
She's technically died 3 times.
Okay.
I mean, I buy that as the answer.
Okay.
I mean,
She you
Okay.
got it.
We have she's right here.
We got
With
it.
the lovely
Fact
hat.
checker.
Oh, she's checking. Shout out to our sponsor. She is checking right now. And this is all brought to you by the Broward Cultural Division and Destination Sistrunk, as well as Greater Fort Lauderdale and Convention Bureau.
also shout out to my man Jeff Carroll in the audience. Y'all give it up for.
Showed up.
Appreciate you for coming out,
What's
Jeff.
up, dude? Jeff?
He was running late. He was watching us on the way here.
That's what's up.
So what's the validity of the debate? Because there is a debate, an ongoing debate about the number of times she died.
Oh.
One says death of radiation in X-Men 100, killed herself on the moon in Uncanny in X-Men 137, killed by Wolverine in New X-Men 150, killed by Magneto in New X-Men 150.
No.
All comic book references too.
There's all kinds of references.
Now, if you
So
go
we're
by
at 4 deaths so far.
It says in another one she died 6 times in one issue.
good gosh,
I guess the
Alrighty.
universally one is 3, so
The universally one.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, let's see what this next question brings about.
okay. During the Mutant Massacre, there was a group called the Marauders.
Okay.
There is an X-Men that was both Marauder and X-Men. Who is that person? Very popular X-Men.
Was it Wolverine?
No. I'll give you another shot.
Okay.
We being honest, let's give you another shot. Go ahead. Very popular X-Men.
You're stressing the popular and it's throwing me off. That's why I said Wolverine the first time.
Very sexy X-Men.
Is it Miss Aurora Monroe?
No.
No.
I'll give you one last shot. It's a male.
It's a
It's
Gambit?
It is Gambit.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that didn't count though. That was 3 shots.
I think that makes Captain our reigning champ.
No. Oh,
No.
We gotta go because I got hers right. She got mine right.
Okay, that's where
Overtime.
we are? Okay.
you got one more question for
One
him?
more?
One more question.
All right, give us a second to think about it. I want to give a shout out also to Miss Sophia Smart, got us tuned in. We appreciate you. Keith, she said, move your hands from in front of your mouth. Yes, we are reading.
Hi, Sophia. What's going on?
All right, we ready?
Okay.
All right, let's give it up for Gigi. Come on.
Overtime.
Who was Cyclops' son?
Who was Cyclops' son? You mean Cable?
Yeah, that was.
That's too easy. That's too easy.
Okay.
Okay.
We gotta finish him now.
That was easy.
Finish him.
That was the first wife.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd have been a good one.
I'm gonna keep on. I'm gonna stay on that line. Who was Cyclops' second wife?
She started teaching at the school.
Who was Cyclops' second wife?
Oh my gosh, I know this.
Come on, Gigi. I'm rooting for you. Come on.
She took over. She started teaching at the school. Her and Cyclops got really.
I'm rooting for you. Come on.
Can she get a lifeline from the studio audience? Lifeline. Ask your studio
Okay,
audience.
lifeline.
How about a help?
Like a little helper.
Look,
A help. No, let's don't give it a direct answer.
Give her a
I'll give an
clue.
answer.
Give her a
I
clue.
know.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. That was the affair.
Woo. That was a juicy clue.
Come on, Gigi.
I can't. Her name is on the tip of my tongue, and I want to say, no, don't do that. Lisa, no.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, what's her name?
It's Madeline Pryor.
Madeline Pryor.
Hey.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
She's a clone. She's a clone. She's a clone.
oh, so that was a trick question.
It wasn't a trick question. She's another person. But, well, my best challenger yet.
Good
Gigi, give it up
challenge.
for her.
Good
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good job, Gigi.
Thank you very much. Awesome.
That was awesome.
That was good. I
Good
like that.
segment.
Yeah, we got a prize for her. We got a prize. You get a prize, man. I love that. I want y'all to succeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that explanation.
You're gonna go in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You represent it.
You
Our
represent
first
us.
female
Yeah.
challenger. She did a great job.
Yes.
Wow. Awesome. I feel good about that. Let's
Shout out to her husband too. He's smiling. That's my baby.
That's what's up.
That's my baby.
Your boo is geeked
I
up, dog.
appreciate that, man. I
She's a
appreciate
geek.
I appreciate that so much. All right, let's go right into a really great segment that I love to do, that I love that we are doing, called You Go Goddess. Lieutenant, who is our You Go Goddess award winner this month?
So every first Saturday of the month, we get together and we talk about science fiction and folks that are out of this world. But what we have come to realize as Nubians is there's a lot of females that are just absolutely, they're so beyond magical, they are Black woman power. And so we have a segment called You Go Goddess. And I got a chance to meet this goddess yesterday. And some of you may know her, many of you may not. But her name is Bernadette Morris. Bernadette Morris is a media and marketing guru. Of course, I would find a marketing guru. Shout out to her. She started her company 25 years ago with her first account bringing in a whopping $500 a month. And of course, she had to share that with her right-hand person, which was a graphic artist. Today, she manages the marketing for Florida Department of Transportation. And my favorite, she does the urban marketing for FP&L. Not just right here in South Florida, but across the entire state, and manages a lot of their corporate accounts, which goes beyond the state of Florida. Needless to say, she is beyond $500 a month and grossing in the millions annually. And this year she celebrates 25 years in business. So you go goddess to Bernadette Morris.
All right.
Awesome. Our You Go Goddess segment is brought to us by the Broward Cultural Division and Greater Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, we got a special request for someone. They said next month when we have, those of you that are just joining us, we actually have cereal here every first Saturday when we do the show. Somebody requested some Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So
Can we say who requested the Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
yeah, it was my wife. She wanted.
I agree with you. Nothing better than cinnamon milk afterwards. That's the after treat. Exactly.
So
I didn't get no cereal yet. Any Fruity Pebbles back there?
hey,
Fruit Pebbles? Are they there?
No,
Oh,
that-
Apple
that's-
Jacks. We got to do Apple Jacks.
Applejack. Okay, I can do
That's a
Applejack. I can work
good
Applejack.
ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we are going to get it on. It is about to happen right now. The challenge of the franchises. Our studio audience is going to pick their franchise to represent, to champion. One will be crowned the champion franchise. We're going to debate amongst our audience, and myself, my first officer, my science officer, will be the judge. Right back in 2 seconds. Sci-Fi Saturdays. You know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome everyone back to our third section as we get ready to continue on with Sci-Fi Saturdays. We are going to go into our last topic. Let's turn it over to the captain, the one and only Key C. Wade.
Hey. All right. Just briefly, I wanted to address some of our dignitaries in the audience. Jeff Carroll, who just wrapped his film, The Death Pledge, one time. Princess Sola, whose novel is on sale right now. Princess Sola and the Princess Sola in My World. Absolutely. And my big man, my friend.
Wait, round of applause for
Princess Sola. And my man Troy Bernier, who is the founder of the Miami International Science Fiction Film Fest, and it's happening this month. Actually, it's actually happening next week.
Yes, I'm
It's
going.
happening next week.
It's on my calendar.
It's on our calendar to
going.
go. And some of the amazing films that are actually written, directing, or starring people of color are The Cell, Real Connection, New York 2150. It's a lot of like amazing films. Troy, we're going to talk to you in a minute during this challenge, but I just wanted everybody to know that the Miami International Science Film Festival is happening this week. It starts when, Troy? Friday. It starts Friday.
Round of applause for Troy.
It starts Friday. So I wanted to make sure we knew that was happening. All right. So our dilemma of the day. There's so many of us that love these conventions, these franchises. And one of the biggest topics of debate is which franchise is the best. Be it Star Wars, be it Star Trek, be it Lord of the Rings, be it Harry Potter, be it Game of Thrones. There are so many franchises that people stand by, love. So we're going to have a challenge today about which franchise stands above all others. And I want to be completely impartial. I'm not going to even offer my opinion on initially on which one I stand with. But I wanted the champions of those specific franchises to really step up and state their case for their franchise.
Well, who's going to go first?
Well, first of all, I want to see who's here to represent who. So, could I have a representative from Alderaan, that which is all things Star Wars? Is there anybody that will represent for Star Wars? Is there anyone?
Yeah.
Just stand. If you go.
stand.
Okay.
Got Star Wars.
Jeff Carroll will represent for Star Wars. Is there anyone from Starfleet that will represent for the United Federation of Planets? For the Ordis, Troy Brenner is representing for Star Trek. Is there anyone from Hogwarts? Is there anyone that has been trained in the wizard ways? Is there anyone that is Slytherin or Gryffindor? Is there anyone that will represent for Harry Potter? Anyone will represent for Harry Potter? Is there anyone that will represent for the dead? Will anyone represent for those of the survivors or
The Walking Dead.
It's me.
Uh-oh. We got a deadhead in here.
what?
We got a Trekkie. We got a wizard.
All right.
We got a deadhead.
Is there anyone that will represent for those who follow Queen Daenerys Targaryen? First of her name.
Ooh, the whole table.
All right. So,
That's right. Shout out to the millennials.
For those of you just joining us,
oh, that's so funny to me. Huh? There, anybody who's we're getting the representatives for the specific franchises to debate right now, and we're going to debate which franchise is the best.
The best. Which one do you want to represent? Star Wars. There you go.
Okay,
You're
so
on it.
you can be on
With him.
but you could be with Carol.
Got
over
it.
over
Okay. You were
Princess Solar's Team Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm kind of Team Star Trek too. I think it's tough, man.
It's gonna be
It's tough.
okay. So here's what we're gonna do.
Does that
Okay.
Marvel?
We will. Is there anybody that's going to represent for Metropolis, Gotham, Central City?
She got her cape on.
No, just for just for DC.
I need that pose again.
Just for DC. So we have one
Yes.
representative from the DC universe. Huh?
It's too many things.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah, it's in the mix, definitely.
All right, we have anybody else want to represent one specific franchise? Anybody else? That's something that I didn't mention. Oh, anybody from Middle Earth, from Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings, that's a major franchise. That's a major franchise. No hobbits, no elfin, no orcs. Okay. All right, so let's write this down. So we got Star Wars, we got Star Trek, we got Team Trek, we got Team Star Wars, we got Team Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Okay, gotcha.
We got Team DC
Got the Walking Dead.
and The Walking Dead.
Got
No
Marvel.
Marvel. And Game of Thrones. And Game of Thrones. Yes, just those five. So here's what I want to do. You will have a minute to represent for the best aspects of your franchise. We will eliminate you from that point. Your opening statement will qualify you for the next round. You have a minute to represent for your franchise. We'll have 3 rounds. First one is going to take us down to 4. The second one is going to take us down to 2. And then the third one, there can be only 1.
Different franchise.
No, I'm talking about rounds.
No, I'm just saying. I was joking.
I feel you.
There can be only one.
All right.
My head.
You guys were judges,
Yes.
so what if you're more partial to somebody else?
You're the judge as our sponsor.
No, there's no. There can't be any more. There can't be. There has to be 3. So if Lieutenant's going to represent for The Walking Dead, then you have to be a judge because there has to be a tiebreaker. All right. All right. So let the last be the first and the first be the last. Can I have our DC representative come to the bridge, please? That's you. That would be you.
All right, let's welcome Miss Kanika Frazier Wright.
Woo!
Welcome.
Clap, 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 clap.
Representing for all things DC.
What am I doing?
Yes, ask him. What am I
You're gonna
doing?
give a minute in presentation why you think DC is the best universe.
The best franchise.
She only need 30 seconds. She got this. You got it. You
Okay.
got it.
Go for it. I mean, well, why Superman, Batman, and all those
Wonder
heroes?
Woman.
Why is you saw the movie Justice League?
I did.
Why did you think?
Loved it.
Why
Why
did
is
you
that the
think that's
best?
a great universe?
I feel like
On the mic.
DC. Oh,
And nice and loud.
I feel like DC allows us to connect from our past to our future to our present. It takes regular people and gives them superpowers, or maybe they just like are regular people that seem regular, but there's a mystique about them. And that intrigues us. It gives us something to look forward to. I think it's that we all carry a little of DC in us, from Wonder Woman to Superman to Batman. So to me, I think
Uh-oh, Kevin, Troy, they got a tag team.
Coming up.
Come on. Oh, okay. Y'all got it.
We're actually going to, share into, representing Star Trek. But I grew up watching Star Trek. I loved it. It developed in the 60s. And what I really love about it is that it incorporates all of the things that the other franchises have within it. But the one great thing is that it had a group of diverse officers. Okay? And that's right. And that would be a reflection of what the future would behold. It was like a dream. And in watching a documentary, I believe it was the character that played Uhura. She at one point wanted to actually leave or fade out. And it was Dr. King that encouraged her because he was a Trekkie. And he encouraged her to stay on because of the fact that her role and everything about her would be something for others.
1964, and 2017, first woman of color in Star Wars 2017.
For real,
All right.
she did.
Can I have our representative from Alderaan, and that which is Star Wars? Star Wars representative.
Wars.
Star Wars,
Our
Young
Star Wars.
Jedi.
Silence, please. Silence, please. Star Wars is here.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
You have the floor, sir.
The only reason why, the only reason Star Wars.
Star Wars. He's
Well,
representing for
movie,
Star Wars.
Let me correct you.
Ooh, ooh.
All right. The only reason why a movie is so addictive is because the director decides to put endpoints on there that shows the true meaning of life and the true meaning of knowledge and power. For an instance, Star Wars, they show, for an instance, the Force all throughout the movies. Now, maybe it's a continuing story, unlike The Hobbit and Harry Potter. They make outstanding movies, but they don't have a background and a spine for a storyline.
Ooh.
Star Wars shows the reason why, and it replicates the reason why. If we had the power that they had in Star Wars, we would all be at war with each other, and we would all want power. We would all want that dramatic scenes and the excitement. So they add that in with fighting and the ships and the storyline to it. Star Wars, if you look at it, there's sad things, there's good things, there's happy things, but you got to pay attention because in Star Wars, it's the meaning of life, basically. If we were in their time, we would do the same thing. And that's why we keep looking, and that's why we keep looking back to it, because we want to see more of what continues to the next movie.
Okay. Thank you. Very good.
Okay.
All right.
Well said, young man.
Our representative from The Walking Dead.
Okay. So I'm going to represent for The Walking Dead. everybody loves The Walking Dead, and that's why I have to represent for it. The Walking, especially all 8 seasons, and it says something about The Walking Dead because we have folks tuned in who are not even sci-fi fans. It's for everybody. A lot of these things, these Star Wars, Star Treks, and all this other stuff, is very clannish and very non-inclusive. Whereas The Walking Dead brings everybody into the fold because we all want to know what happens after life. And when we imagine that there's some kind of apocalypse, some kind of zombie apocalypse, we start to realize, in a sense, we kind of live in something like that today, where people are walking around zombie-like. And I think that it's just so true to life, and we remember the characters' names, and we can have stories about it, and we can. It empowers us to be alive. As we watch people walking around dead, it empowers us to be alive right now. So, whether you want to admit it or not, The Walking Dead is transformative. It's empowering, and it's enlightening, and it's the opposite of what we want to be in our end days. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good job. All right, could I have my judges really quick?
Did he call me? That was wrong.
What is just jabbing?
Somebody had to represent for it.
Okay. So let's judges. Let's confer. Let's confer for a second, for just one quick second. Come on over here. What do y'all think? We'll have an open confer.
I have a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
Don't admit it. Just let it go.
I do. I have a conflict of interest.
I have to be completely impartial in terms of the arguments. I honestly want to advocate for the representation presented by Star Trek.
I was going to say the same thing. And the reason I was saying it was because of the historical factor. Mm-hmm. And that right there is enough to say, thanks for the longevity. That's why we're still here, and that's why we're still creating, and we're going to continue to create. And if they don't allow us to be in their stories, damn it, we're going to make our own. Okay. And that's what we're doing.
And let's just base it based on the presentation. That's all.
Right.
That's just based on the presentation.
And I think just from that little tidbit of knowledge, because people don't realize the significance some of those actors played during that time. There were no Asian actors on television anywhere, not in America. There were no female roles where you were on the middle of a cast, and black female roles that were part of the major cast and were changing television as they began this adventure together. I think the first time I heard a curse word was on Star Trek when he said, "Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a mechanic." And I was like, did he just say that on TV?
Okay. So Star Trek is definitely into the second round. Who do you have for the? Who else do you have? Troy.
I was hitting Star Trek.
Okay. Well, so we are universally agreed on Star Trek.
Yeah.
How do we feel about DC?
Yeah.
I'm going for Game of Thrones. God.
No, it's not even that. But
I think there's a conflict of interest.
No. I mean, because we all have family here, so we can't. There's no conflict of interest.
That was
really.
an easy way out for me.
Yeah.
I personally am a DC fan. I think the uniqueness of all of their characters shows you the many different sides of us as people. You know, there's that strong Wonder Woman that has that warrior mentality. There's Superman, who is invincible and doesn't mind giving someone a beating. There's Batman that thinks his way in and out of everything. And, you know, those characters show us such, different sides of who we are as people.
Really? Who we are?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who wrote those things? They ain't showing me how I am.
Well, I mean, not necessarily racially speaking, but I'm just talking about as people, you know. We don't portray women in media as being strong and mighty and
I got a small beeline waist and big things here.
well, she and even her though, she wasn't with the new character, she wasn't a big girl or a small girl. She was supposed to be somebody in between, and they picked a small chick. But Wonder Woman could have been a black woman. There was no reason why she couldn't.
She would
Wonder
never
Woman's
have
sister
been
is
a
actually black.
woman.
Oh well, you're good.
Wonder Woman's sister is actually black. Let's streamline this. DC, yeah.
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 DC, yeah.
No.
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 I say DC, no. Okay, so DC is eliminated. Sorry. Star Wars. How we feel about Star Wars?
That was his presentation? Oh, guys, come on. He killed that presentation. And we're basing
How do you
it
feel?
on...
How do you feel?
The presentation, if we just based it on,
Just based on presentation.
it was a good presentation. It was a good presentation.
Gary?
It's the Jedi way of life. So it's us. We are part of the Force.
Yes.
But
Yes, no, or maybe so.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta
Okay,
yes,
so Star Wars goes into the second round. Walking Dead. I will represent. I'll first say that I think the presentation for Walking Dead was good,
Oh,
and
it's a good presentation.
it stood up in terms. I'll just say that. Y'all, what do you think?
The presentation.
Presentation was good.
You know, I'm so over zombie movies, though. And that's me. I hate to say it, because I think it's like one of those things that we've overdone over and over again. The Walking Dead, The Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead. Well,
Night
damn,
of
if
the
they was dead the
Zombies.
first time, how did they come back? You know?
Fear of the Dead.
I mean, even with the spoofs. Like,
Your Mama Dead.
J-
That
Shaun
was
of the
good.
Dead.
That was good.
Um,
Shaun of the Dead was
They
good.
were, and they were great. But then you kind of, where's the end of this? Where it just
Walking Dead, yes or no?
no.
No. Walking Dead, yes or no?
And
No.
I'm a fan. I
Okay.
watch it.
Walking Dead is eliminated.
I still love you.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Because I fell in love with the first 3 movies. Yes.
Harry Potter, yes or no?
I'll move it.
Harry Potter, yeah. Harry Potter goes through to the second round. So,
Wait,
We
we
ha-
didn't do Game of Thrones.
okay. Game of
Whoa,
Thrones.
how can you not put that in?
Yes.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Yes
On
or
the
no?
present, yes.
Yes.
That is fantasy.
I'll
on
go
the
with yes
edge.
too. Okay. So this is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna have Game of Thrones versus Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Game of Thrones versus Harry Potter. State your case. 30 seconds.
Come up.
Come up.
Come on. Wait, they should like sit next
Yeah,
to
they
each
gotta
other.
stand. They face off.
Come on,
Face off.
Potter, face off.
Face off.
Name that tune.
Here's. Tell us why. Tell us why. Based on Harry Potter, why Harry Potter is better than Game of Thrones.
Harry Potter is the only series that you can pick up from start to end, read all the books, watch all the movies, and it makes complete sense. There's nothing convoluted about it. There's nothing too extreme about it. Everything about it makes sense, and it's streamlined, start to finish. I've read all the Game of Thrones books, and it's like reading the Bible. You can't. It's like trying to get through one will take you at least, I want to say 2 or 3 months just to get through one book, and just to follow all the plot lines and characters and who dies, who gets decapitated. All this is too much. And then the series itself on HBO, I mean, you can watch all the Harry Potter movies, be completely satisfied, and not have to keep going back and forth like you do with Game of Thrones. For Game of Thrones, I had to watch a season multiple times just to make sure I follow the storyline completely. Harry Potter, you don't have to do that.
Okay.
Weasley's Wizard Wheel. All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, good sir, but you kind of buried yourself.
Ooh.
The reason
Fire-
you can
fire
watch
buzz.
Game of Thrones again and again is because it always has something to offer. And this comes from someone who very familiar with Harry Potter books and movies. I love it, but hey, it's simple. And we need something a little more complicated, something a little more hearty, something good, and that's Game of Thrones. And predictability is the killer of all series, and we all knew Harry wasn't gonna die. And come on. And Game of Thrones, come on, you never know who's going. And even after your favorite person dies, you're still watching it. Like, come on, that has to be a good series. And with that,
Drop the mic. She dropped the mic. She dropped the mic.
Excellent
Okay, here's how we're gonna do this. Harry Potter? Harry Potter?
Wow.
I knew.
Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones is through to the last round.
All right.
All right, let me get Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Let's
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we go.
Go.
All right.
It's gonna be
Bring it
Troy
home,
versus.
Star Trek.
The
Bring it
Trekkies
home.
take on the
Bring
Jedi.
it home.
Switched out. I like the tag team.
This is all right.
Star Trek versus Star Wars. Why is Star Trek? This is a face-off. This is going live, baby. Troy Brenner versus Jeff Carroll. Let's go.
Come on now.
You just
You know,
Okay.
how long does he get, right?
30 seconds for you. 30
So
seconds for you.
why is Star?
Why is Star Trek better than Star Wars?
It's not even debatable.
Ooh.
First of all, come on, guys. Be for real here. Remember how it all started, okay? Gene Roddenberry, back in the early 60s, came up with this amazing idea on how the world would be a better place. And what came from it, of course, 40, many, many decades later, we ended up with over 700 TV shows. We ended up with dozens of films and fan films, fandom. We ended up with so much that they've been trying to bring it back ever since. Have they yet? No, not really. They got a lot of derivatives that are coming out, and there's some really good sci-fi in there, but people are still demanding and demanding for more. And will that happen? We don't know. We can say that it's changed, and this change is looking more like Star Wars. So Star Trek still hasn't fully come back yet, but it will. But it will. And for the record, what is the Star Trek effect? Almost everything we have, almost everything we use to make our day better is the result of Star Trek. I don't know anything better to say than that. I just don't. You can't compete. You can't compete. Optimism. It brought us to this day.
Yeah.
All this other stuff you're hearing today is the opposite of optimism. Okay? Star Wars wouldn't have even existed if it wasn't for Star Trek.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Okay. What?
Don't go nowhere, my
Go,
brother.
go.
Don't go nowhere.
Face off. Right there, right there, right there. Come on.
Stay right there.
Come on, Jeff.
All right.
Come on. Come on through.
No, I think he actually, what I want to say about what Star Trek brings is history. And after this presentation, Star Trek will be a part of our history. Okay?
But
When you look at what Gene Roddenberry was trying to do, he never really got to do it. It became what Star Wars actually is. So I understand it's always good to respect our pioneers, but that's like saying, you know, old basketball is better than LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Shaq, and all the new generation. Star Wars, when you talk about accessibility, video games, comic books, hundreds of novels, a franchise that never died. They don't have to try to bring it back because it never went anywhere. If you look at the between times when the last movie, and it has memorable lines. I am your father. I have the higher ground. Who talks backwards like Yoda? Everybody has Jedi powers. How many of y'all actually felt they based Jedi off of black people's inner powers? Yes. So
Never.
Star Wars represents all of that. All right? What else? And then when you look, which one? What do you say? Yeah, I mean, because again, it's a hot.
all right.
Okay.
All right, but that's it. History.
Okay. Ho,
That was
we
good,
gotta
that was
decide
good.
this. Star Wars? Star Trek?
Wow.
In an upset.
I don't know. That sounds like a draw to me.
In an upset. I would have to give it. Wow.
No, Star Wars ain't had but 6 brown-looking people in its entire franchise. How do you I will never get past the fact. How do you glorify a show, a movie, a series like that?
I got it, I got
when
it.
we don't exist. It'll never. I'm sure
In real life,
Sure.
Star Wars is run by a woman. And the writing crew is run by a black woman. So we're not
What, is
dealing
that
with what
present
was.
or the
It's
past?
present right now. All we can
history
deal
is
with is what's right now. And the reason why is because it's there right now. Okay. So Star Trek wins that round.
Yes. Yes.
Star Trek wins that round. So now,
It's kind of funny though, because you talk about the difference between history and what's possibly the future, and we're not sure if we're gonna like the future.
Well, with the Cheeto, we got the Grand Cheeto. So we have a present day Darth Vader.
Yeah.
A
I
present
guess.
day Khan. So I don't know.
okay. So let's get the final. Let's get this final going. Game of Thrones versus Star Trek. Game of Thrones versus Star Trek.
All right.
This is the final round. Okay.
Oh, you just have to turn. When you talk, Star Trek.
So let's.
That man wrote notes. He read it. He came.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Hi, Hillary.
Tell me. No, I'm just. What you're gonna do this time is you're gonna tell us what effect Star Trek has had on you versus what effect Game of Thrones has had on you.
Well played, Captain.
Yeah.
This is the final round.
This is the final round.
It needs to be succinct.
Yes. What effect has Star Trek had on you? What effect has Game of Thrones had on you?
Well, for me, when you look at history, it's like man has always tried to understand God, and he's always tried to understand his surroundings. He's always tried to explore new beginnings. And that's what Star Trek is all about. They're explorers going out there to conquer new worlds.
The effect it's had on you.
And the effect it's had on me is what I was able to actually learn from it. Their timeline is with ours. Like, for instance, I'm a teacher, and they talk about what would happen, like the humpback whales, when they became extinct. And the thing is that those humpback whales had a purpose. And also, I love science. And Star Trek 1, they were talking about Voyager. And that was something that we launched in the mid-'70s. And this Voyager, its purpose was to explore the outer planets, where in part 1, Voyager has been out there for hundreds of years, and it actually came back to give information, but to its creator. You see? And so, yeah. And so the thing is that its knowledge is realistic because it comes from within our timeline. It incorporates all of what you guys have, but it still brings it back to the basis. We are explorers.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay, all right.
Yes.
We'll give you an equal amount of time.
So, what has Game of Thrones done for me? I think we're all here because we not only love sci-fi, it's entertainment. It's escapism. It's going home and not having to think about all of the stuff that we have to deal with every single day. Whether we like our boss, whether we don't like our boss, whether the white girl is this or whether the black guy is that, whether we have to hold our tongue, whether we have to you just swallow it and just keep it moving. So for me, Game of Thrones, you go home, you sit down, and you watch all the carnage, and you escape from everything that brings you stress. This is a de-stressor for me. I mean, I love it because of those reasons. I don't have to think about history. I don't have to think about anything but being entertained. And if nothing, Game of Thrones does that for a slew of people. So that's what it is for me. So that's why I think Game of Thrones holds it down.
Okay. Judges?
Captain?
I'll let y'all weigh in first. Y'all weigh in first on our final. Go ahead.
I'm not a part of the judges, but I think they both brought up such interesting concepts. Do you like to explore or do you like to escape? And that's deep.
That was heavy.
Yeah.
That really was. And the thing about Game of Thrones, and I got to say that, is that you watch it and you really don't know what's going to happen. And it's not the typical story of, okay, we got heroes, we got villains, and all the heroes are always going to live.
Right.
And they're always going to be here. Because with that Red Wedding, it made the whole series for me. Because it made me look at, well, who needs to have the heroes? You can create new heroes. And that's exactly what it does.
That
It tells
Red
us
Wedding, boy.
we live that life. We walk out of this building. We can walk out across the street and get hit by a car. And that's the end of my game. But Keith will go on and become the King of Thrones.
I am Jon
He
Snow.
won't. He'll be working in the house.
So what's your vote?
What's your vote? You want to escape or explore?
Man.
I can't escape. I'm stuck here on this planet. There's no escaping.
It's real.
There's no escaping. So the whole notion of evolution and transformation, that's why I always go with track.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
The future already happened. There it is. And it's
Okay.
happening again.
Okay.
There it
So
is.
she's for Trek. Number one. What do you
I'm
what
do
do
the
you?
throne, brother. I got to do the throne on this.
Ooh.
Based on presentation.
Yeah, and I'm a Trek fan. I mean, don't get me wrong. What made me a fan was when I saw James T. Kirk. He had a green chick. Dude, who gets a green chick? Dude, he was with all the chicks. James was with everybody. He was just, and you had to say, well, God, this dude is charismatic. He's out here flaunting with aliens. Hey, I'm worried about him catching a venereal disease he can't get rid of. Because he was out there he was doing his thing. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny.
We had the Klingon relationship too.
Huh?
We had the Klingon relationship.
Yeah, exactly with the Klingon thing. I mean, that part of it was it was like, wow, there might actually.
So which one are you for?
I love it, but I am a throner. Only because
Based on the presentation.
based on the presentation and about what she was saying, it really reflects on the life we live every day. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You may be the hero of your story, but your story may be over 5 minutes from now.
Okay.
And that's what happened in that. And I love that for that reason.
Okay. All right.
So I'm a throne on that one.
Okay. So we have one for Trek, one for Thrones.
Where are you?
I am. I love that. I am down for the Warriors path.
Alpha.
The first movie that my dad ever took me to was Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. And it set an impression for me, not only just the experience of being with my father, but that I didn't love Star Trek until then. Conversely, I've never before in my life stood in front of my TV and literally almost broke it when I saw the Red Wedding.
That was it. It was a defining moment.
I literally almost broke my TV.
I ain't mad at you.
And I was traumatized for at least 4 or 5 days afterwards. I've never seen anything like that on television, in television history. But speaking
Even when Glenn got his fit.
But speaking to history, we cannot understand who we are until we understand who we were.
Yep.
We cannot go forward until we've understood where we've come from. I think that there is something to be said for exploring new worlds, seeking out new life and new civilization, to going boldly where no one has ever gone before. And for that reason, I crown Star Trek as the franchise of dominance.
In the Vulcan mind meld.
Based on 700 televised episodes based on more than 8 films, based on a history, based on a history that has extended from 1967 to current day.
Walking Dead space.
Question, Captain.
Not sentimentality. Not sentimentality. The presentation that stated all those facts brought us here to where we are.
Y'all are some niggas who read, aren't you?
Huh?
Y'all are some niggas who read, man.
No, she has.
Talking about being a voyager, being a discoverer, and that we all are. You know, think about the first time you went in the kitchen and your mama told you not to go near the stove, and you went by the stove anyway, and you had to go seek special. When no child had no business going before. And when you went in there and you saw the skillet was hot, but you wanted to touch it anyway because you needed to know.
Colin,
So
don't touch that burner.
You touched it. You got burnt and you got your ass whooped after that.
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to thank.
Thank you.
I want to give a Wonder Woman ball to the representative from Star Trek and a
They
sealed
need to
copy.
split that. It's 2 of them, and it's Kevin's birthday as well. Happy birthday, Kevin.
Happy birthday, Kevin.
You get all that.
Oh, that's sweet. That's good.
A couple of big announcements
Make
before I
it
go into my
melanated.
captain's log. Next month is going to be a big month. It's going to be a big show for us. I'm hoping that everybody shows up because we are going to have the first, as far as I know, in the state of Florida, Black Panther event happening at Sci-Fi Saturdays. We are going to have a costume, cosplay, Sci-Fi Saturdays event here. Everybody come in costume for Black Panther to celebrate Black Panther, and we are going to be talking about Afrofuturism. Do we make it to the future? An analysis of Afrofuturism, and we're going to celebrate Black Panther in costume. I know, for me personally, I'm going to be King T'Challa,
Go on with your bad self.
the classic King T'Challa. You can be a person from Wakanda. We are welcoming all Marvel characters as well. So I'm going to be King.
Who am I supposed to be? I don't know what
You
to
could be
do.
Storm.
I could be, okay. I
You
know
can be
what to do.
Storm. You could
I don't know who I'm gonna do.
you could be the Juggernaut. You could be the Juggernaut.
Well, they kind of took that away from, like in the animation, that warrior tribe that was against King T'Challa's and the Panther was the gorillas, and they drew that character to be really big and very bulky. I might look him up.
Yeah, that's awesome. You could be Eric Killmonger.
Yeah.
All those people. Listen, everybody come. It's going to be a lot of amazing announcements made that day. It's going to be awesome. So next Sci-Fi Saturdays is going to be a huge, huge event. So come through. It's going to be on February 3rd. So do not miss it. A lot of special guests, a lot of surprises for next time. Lieutenant and First Officer, I think I'm going to go into my captain's log right now. Captain's log. Earth date 1618. We just had an amazing event where we fought for our tribes, or the tribes we kind of feel the most akin with. But for me, especially over these last couple of months, I've learned or understood how to fight for the most important tribe, which is the tribe of you. The tribe of you is that tribe through which you understand your own self-worth, your own desire, and worthiness of being loved, of being fought for, of being cherished. See, we fought for Star Trek and Star Wars. and Game of Thrones and Harry Potter. But we have to understand that we are worthy of being fought for the exact same way. You deserve to be fought for. You deserve to be geeked out over. Marcus Wade deserves to be geeked out over. Troy Brenier deserves to be geeked out over. Kanika Fraser-Wright deserves to be geeked out over. When we think about ourselves, we kind of don't always give ourselves the necessary self-love that requires our existence on this planet. So when you think about it, when you go home at night and you say, like, I love Game of Thrones, give yourself a moment to say, damn it, I love me too. I love the fact that my hair is receding. I love the fact that my voice is a little raspy. I love the fact that I don't run as fast as I used to, but boy, I can still get up. I love the fact that I'm who I am, exactly the way I'm supposed to be in exactly this time. It's necessary that you love yourself the way you're supposed to, and that you require from every other person in your sphere that they love you the exact same way. When you walk into a room, you deserve to be admired as if you were Queen Daenerys herself. When you walk into a room at your job, they need to look at you like the Black Bruce Wayne. When you're by yourself in your car, you need to understand that you are just as powerful as Kal-El from the planet Krypton. You are. And if nobody in that day tells you so, Captain Keith C. Wade is telling you, you are so important to this sphere. Without you, we're not going to be the same. Understand your worth. Understand your power. Understand that you are worthy of being a superhero all by yourself. That's what I needed to say. I dedicate this to my good friend Milton Mustafa, who passed away. He was a hero of mine. I dedicate this to my good friend Gary D. Wright for being there for me. I dedicate this to Crystal Chanel, who was always there for me, who's a superhero in my eyes. I dedicate this to all of you who come through on Saturday mornings to celebrate with us. I pray that your coming year is more amazing and adventurous than you've ever imagined. I am Keith C. Wade, captain of this bridge. This is Sci-Fi Saturdays. See you next month. Wade out.